advocate for the Hello again. Welcome to the second talk on this series on lucid dreaming. My name is Marco Lopez, and I'm here on behalf of the Gnostic culture, which tries to advocate for the advancement of the spiritual awakening of humankind. So that's why we give these talks. We are a non-profit organization on over 30 countries, and you'll see a few QR codes throughout the slides. Those QR codes basically are for three things. One, to subscribe to the channel. One, to basically download the ebook of this talk. And one for donations. The donations, one is basically to cover for the cost of doing these kind of things. Even though I'm here talking, there is a huge team behind me making this happen, making this possible. So all of those people are working for free, basically. And they're volunteering their time, their effort to make this happen. So any donations that you could spare to basically keep doing this, we and how to make that happen. Okay, next slide, please. So, if we are talking about dreams, about conscious ones, there is two kinds. There is the conscious, the normal dream, where we basically say what needs to happen, and we basically see and act upon what we see, and we take care of what needs to be. So we choose where to go, we choose what to do, we choose what to say, who to talk to, we choose everything, like you could say in daily life. So it's not something that basically means that things happen. Things might happen, but we will be in control of those events, even if those events are out of our reach or out of our control. Like in normal life, awake life, let's say in the physical world, we are going to be, for example, if we see an accident, we basically go to help, right? So it's like that. I mean, it's just the normal thing to do. So it's not different in that sense. We will have control. We will be having more control over our the total of our dreams, our dream world, because, you know, we have several different phases, different dreams, different levels. So in all of them, we can have control of it. So there is another kind, as it says in the slide, that is super conscious. So that level basically means that we are going to be having an spiritual experience. So it depends then on whoever has a spiritual path to achieve that. Because just going out into the astral, we do that every day. Every time we go to bed, every night, we go out in astral. The thing is, we mostly go unconsciously. So the difference is here, we are going to go willingly in astral, and we are going to make things happen. So that's the whole thing. Next slide, please. So many people in life do have some kind of control. Even once in their lives, they know this is a dream. Now I can do this, now I can do that, and go here, go there. It depends on the level of consciousness that we can master at that moment, what we can do. But this is not something that we would be, I mean, this is not strange to us or strange to most people. Most people can remember some dreams in great detail. That is not unheard of. We can do things, move there, speak to people, and sometimes we can even trying to get into astral, or even not trying to get into astral. Sometimes we see our own body sleeping in our bed. And well, that is an interesting moment the first time, but it is one we need to go through to really understand that we are not our physical body. There is more to us than our physical body, and our physical body is just part of the rest of it. Next slide, please. So we are going to talk now about the benefits of practicing lucid dreaming. Next slide. So if we manage to get into having lucid dreams, we will gain self-knowledge. Because in order to have lucid dreams, the first thing that we need to basically address is to be conscious in the physical world. So that self-knowledge comes from the self-knowledge that we have in the physical world. So as we spoke yesterday, as it is above, it is below. if we have good self-knowledge, awareness, you might say, in the physical world, the more chances we will have to have lucid dreams. If we spend our waking days basically not remembering who we are, what we are doing, then it's kind of impossible basically to do or to practice lucid dreaming, because we need to awaken in the physical body, to awaken to our feelings, to our thoughts, to what we are doing, to be aware of our own selves at most moments in order to have lucid dreaming. That is the key to all this. There is no way around this. We are not going to have great experiences in the afterworld if we do not address this. We need to basically have some kind of control of our consciousness, of our awareness in the physical body during the day. And that is something we need to learn to do. In most countries, there is a Gnostic association, and most probably you can find it online. They will teach you this. We offer free courses most times of the year, where you actually can discover and practice and be explained in detailed manner how to do this, how to keep aware, keep awake during the waking hours. So that self-knowledge then basically you gain because you made it happen yourself. From that self-knowledge comes the rest of the points here. Understanding of our own psychological processes and resolving conflicts. Sometimes when we have issues with other people, be that at work, be that with family, be that with friends, be that with whoever, that most probably and most commonly comes from not being aware of our own shortcomings. Even though, let's say, the neighbor is making a lot of noise, that's undoubtedly a problem, and it's not my fault. What would be my fault is to basically get mad because of that. So if I go to knock on the neighbor's door when I'm not calm enough, that would be a very bad thing to do, and the neighbor will not appreciate that, even though you could say that he's in the wrong. But it doesn't matter for our own self-knowledge. If we are able to keep calm, we can explain things to him in a civilized manner, and he is most likely to understand that better than if we yell at him. Just a very simple example. So this self-knowledge and this understanding of our own psyche basically gets us or helps us to make better life decisions. Maybe we don't understand sometimes what we need to do in life. Maybe our goals in life are not that realistic. It might happen. It did happen to me. So at some point we need to wake up to what our reality is about and what we can do to fix that at some point and make things happen for us, for our own benefit, in the sense of gaining self-knowledge, because that is what this is all about. We acquire knowledge about death. This might sound a bit crazy, but as I said yesterday, the astral world basically is one of the names that people use to describe this, is the realm of the living and of the dead. We can talk to dead people in the astral world. They live there for a time before they, let's say, depart permanently. So you can easily talk with some people that you know have already passed away, if you are so inclined. Normally, those are conversations that might not have very much practical use, let's say. Maybe it is important for you to get some kind of closure, but it's not very practical because, well, for many reasons that I'm not going to dwell in, but because that's a whole class on itself that we are not going to get in now. But you can understand death better, and I'm going to talk a bit later about this whole process, which involves feeling a little bit like dying, which is one part that one needs to address and get accustomed to. And at the same time, we can basically learn. This is the whole point of this. We can travel wherever we want in the astral world. Remember, we can fly in the astral world. So we can go to places, temples, that whatever we want, we can visit every place that we have ever thought of visiting. Of course, we are not going to be doing tourism. We are not going to be sightseeing, because the important things in this astral plane are not about sightseeing. They are basically learning what we need to know for our own benefit. We can learn so many things from people, masters, so many people that we can talk about these things, and you can learn in temples that you can gain access so many things about yourself. So there is a lot to see, a lot to learn in the astral world if we get to be proficient in this. Basically, we would be, let's say, awake during the daytime, and then we would be the 8 hours, let's say we sleep 8 hours, we would be learning the whole time. And in astral, the time does not pass like in here. So it feels like way more than 8 hours the whole time. So it's time well spent, very well spent if we learn to do this. Okay, let's move on. Let's next slide, please. So Carl Gustav Jung basically said, your vision will only become clear when you look into your heart. He who looks outward dreams. He who looks inward awakens. This is great quote from Jung. Our whole life, our whole demeanor, and our whole understanding of who we are internally is not dependent of who we are externally. It doesn't matter how we dress. It doesn't matter how we speak. It doesn't matter how we, behave ourselves. All that actually comes from inside. However I am internally will basically be who I am externally. So if I cultivate my spiritual being, myself internally, my external appearance will benefit, will improve. My understanding of the world will improve. So the only way I can actually move forward in life is through a better understanding of myself. Once I understand why I do things, why I yearn for certain things, I will understand how to behave, how to make things happen for me, and basically get out of trouble. Next slide, please. So we are going to talk about the conscious astral projection. Next slide. And this basically is different from lucid dreaming. So lucid dreaming is, I have a dream. I realize I am in a dream, and okay, so this is a dream, and then I do something. Then I walk away from whatever I was doing there and do something else. So this is good, of course, and I'll be talking about how to achieve that in a moment. But the main objective of today, or the main goal of this whole process, because the lucid dreaming is just a step towards gaining astral projection. So we have to get there first in order to be able to willingly go out. So lucid dreaming is then, I have a dream, and at some point in the dream, I realize this is a dream, and I will then do something else. I will choose willingly myself, not anybody else, what I will do and what will happen in that dream. So I will go places, talk to people, and so on and so on. Now, the astral projection is literally getting out of my body, physical body that is laying in my bed. I will get up and leave. This is astral projection. So from beginning to end, I will be able to know, I will know definitely, that I am in astral, because it was me who actually chose to do that. Of course, this is kind of, for some people, it's very easy to do. For some people, it takes time and effort. For most of us, it takes time and effort. So this is a very different experience than to basically waking up in a dream. This one gives you more control. This one gives you a different feeling. This one gives you a different awareness of the whole situation. You will see with different eyes how the whole situation is. Because in a dream, if you wake up in a dream at some point, it's still hazy. You wake up, you do things, but still hazy. If you get out in astral, it won't be hazy. It will be very clear. Maybe not the beginning. It depends on the person, but most definitely, if you keep doing it, it will become very, very, very clear indeed. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. So, dream yoga. Okay, so we're going to talk about what dream yoga is and what that gives us in this whole process. Next slide. So there is 3 stages, this blue pyramid that we have here. So the first one is to remember. We are going to remember our dreams. The second one would be the projection, and the third one will be the discernment. So these 3, they are part of one. So the first one on top would be to realize, am I in the dream world? Am I in the physical world? I need to know that at all times, because sometimes we basically dream and we would think, this is my daily life. And then when we wake up, we basically realize, no, I was dreaming, but I thought I was in the physical world. I behaved like in the physical world. So this is an important thing to have. You will need this in order to basically awaken astral. Again, the way to do this is to basically have the ability to know in the physical world that you are in the physical world, because you cannot be sure. Because if you thought in the astral world that you were in the physical, you cannot be sure if right now you are watching this talk in the physical world, or you are dreaming and watching me talk about the astral world. So there is a couple of tricks that we could make into habits. One of them is basically pull your finger. So we are going to consciously feel unconsciously pull our finger vigorously. And if it doesn't stretch, we are physical. If it does indeed stretch, we are in the astral. So, of course, if we do this like in a mechanical manner, it's not different than basically scratching yourself. You just do it without thinking. This is not the objective. The objective of this little practice is to basically put your whole attention, your full awareness on this little thing. And you really try to basically stretch the finger. Once you get into doing that like every day, I wouldn't say every waking moment, but you could do that many times per day. And the more times you do that, that means then in the astral world, you will do it as well, because we are mechanical creatures. So if we do it in astral and you are actually in the habit of putting your whole consciousness, your whole attention into pulling your finger, then in astral it will indeed stretch and you will realize, okay, this is a dream. So that's the first one. The second one is remembering. We need to remember our onirical experiences, let's say, our dreams. So if we are able to remember them, we can find patterns. I explained this yesterday. We can get details that might be nonsensical to us at the time, but later on will be very clear to us, and we know what that means, because we will have a little bit more of an experience, like everything in life. So remembering our dreams might be, is equally important to the discernment, but that is a process in itself that we need to go through. The most important thing in remembering our dreams, I will talk about a little bit later on. And the projection. The projection is the fact or the ability of getting out into our astral body. So we are willingly going out, leaving our physical body in our bed, and we are going out into the astral world where we can move freely, like in this physical world. We are going just going to walk out of our bedroom and we are going to fly out the window. So that would be the process. That projection ability is, of course, the hardest of these three, and you could say easily that the projection basically depends on the discernment and the remembrance of dreams. You have to have those two before you are able to do the projection. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. And now we are going to talk about techniques. So, basic technique for projection. Okay. So before we do that, let's give few tips on what we need to happen before this. Because all these tips are fine. They need to happen, but there is a lot of stuff that needs to happen before this. I spoke a little bit about those yesterday. So one thing that we can do in order to actually project ourselves is to listen, maybe after work, to relax in a room well lit and so on, to classical music. The classical music is something that will harmonize our body. It will keep our body calm and relaxed. And as we are 75% water, the sound, the harmonies of the music that we are listening to will have an effect on us. And that will help us to basically relax when we're in bed. I spoke yesterday about some techniques to do when we are actually in bed, but I'll go over them in a minute again. So another thing that we can do is go to have a walk. We are going to have a walk at a brisk pace, not enough to basically break a sweat, but I mean, maybe a little bit. So it's not one of those relaxing strolls that we do at night on the beach or something. No, this is something that you actually have to put some effort to. That at nighttime will help your body to relax. Your muscles will relax naturally. And when you go to bed that night, you will find it easier to relax. Another thing that will not help us would be, for example, watch a lot of TV. TV and mobiles and laptops and all kinds of electronic media, let's say it that way, will not help us to basically getting out in astral. So if we could cut a little bit, that will help us immensely. You can read all about that in many studies that have been made many years ago about how the light that comes from mobiles and laptops and so on basically harm our body's ability to distinguish what is day and night. I believe it's called the circadian cycles or something like that. So in any case, it will not help us. TVs and every kind of electronic screen will not. It is not recommended. I mean, I'm not saying we cut out TV or anything like that, but maybe later in the evening, maybe we could just listen to the music, maybe read something that will let the body tone down, and that will make it easier to get out in the astral. Another thing that will help us immensely is to go early to bed. This might sound crazy, but I don't think it is easy. You would not be doing yourself any favors if you get to bed at 2 a.m. That is a very difficult time to do astral projection. I would do that before midnight. You choose maybe 11, 10. I mean, even 9 is a good time to go to bed. I understand that many of us do have things to do at 9 p.m., but yeah. What can I say is that the body will have better sleep, will have more vital sleep, and will actually work better for us if we are able to go before midnight to bed. That means that the body will basically cooperate with us. If the body goes to bed after midnight, it's going to be an uphill battle, more than it already is. Another thing would be there is some electromagnetic currents in the planet that go through the planet, or on the surface of the planet, you might say. And those currents go from south to north. So if we want to basically make use of those currents, electromagnetic currents, natural currents that the Earth has, we might want to put our bed with the head towards the north. So the current then would find our body in our bed, and the current would go through our feet to our head. That will definitely also help us to get out into the astral, because it's another little help that we can get if we actually can get, want to get this done. So all of these things, so the music, the relaxation is just, yesterday I spoke about basically focusing on the parts of the body. So we would begin from the feet. We feel our big toe, say, and we actually focus on the big toe. We concentrate on feeling the big toe, and that will give us that very special tingling that it comes. And then we will focus on the other four toes, or even each one of them in particular. That is a work that is very much well worth our time. That if we go through our whole body, we basically focus on first the feet, then the ankles, the calves, knees, and so on, and we end up in our head. We will have that feeling throughout our body that will most definitely be a big help for us to get into astral properly, because that ensures that our physical body is going to be rested, and is going to be able, and we are going to be able to get out of our physical body without issues. So the basic technique then for projection would be this relaxation that we can do. If you don't want to spend, or you have, if you don't want to spend that much time on relaxation, that I much advise you to do, you can do, for example, things like tensing your whole body, tensing every single muscle that you have, letting go, relax, feel, tensing again, keep it tense, keep it tense, keep it tense, relax again, let it go. You do that few times, the body begins to understand, okay, I need to relax. It's not as effective as the other one, but yeah, this will take you 5 minutes at most. So yeah, it is not as effective, but it is something. So breathing is another exercise that you can do. Basically, breathe in through the nose, keep it, hold it just a bit, breathe out through the nose, through the mouth. So if you do this consciously, and you basically get your breathing level and that breathing deep enough for you to, it cannot be shallow breathing. We do shallow breathing all the time during the whole day. So this has to be a little bit deeper, but it has to be constant. It has to be harmonious. It has to be relaxing. So we cannot do like breathing like, I'm making an effort with it. No, it has to be something that actually relaxes the body, which is the whole point, right? So then we would sleep in our back, as it says there, dorsal decubitus. And in this position, we will basically, if we can, we will put our hands over our solar plexus. Our solar plexus is 2 fingers above the belly button. So if we are in our bed, we put our hands over, a little bit over our belly button. That will help us as well to basically relax the body and get out in astral. Then we close our eyes, of course, and we are basically going to focus on the moment in there, because what we want to do here is relax the body, but we cannot fall asleep. Because that's the problem. We are very much accustomed to falling asleep. We're going to bed, we got sleepy, and we fall asleep. We lose consciousness, if you will. we don't want that to happen. If we want to get out into the astral, we cannot lose consciousness. That's as simple as that. We are not going to fall asleep. If we fall asleep, then we might end up having a lucid dream, which is good. Of course it is. But if we want to have the full experience, we cannot let that happen. At the beginning, it's most likely to happen. So this might take you maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. The thing is, however it takes, do not stop doing this if you want to. So if you feel that this is something you really want to do, once you commit doing this, do not let go, because this is very easily the practice that will make a real and permanent change in how you actually perceive life. Once you begin having lucid dreams, your outlook in the world will change. You will not see things the same, and you will understand things about the world, about yourself, in a very different way. So then we do the practice. We are going to talk about that in a second. Whatever practice it is, we're going to talk about two of them here. But it basically boils down to do not lose consciousness. Whatever you do, we're keeping our consciousness there. At the beginning, it's difficult to separate the consciousness from our body. But once we get to that trick, we basically are able to relax our body and let the body actually fall asleep. Meanwhile, we are completely awake inside of our body. That is the trick. And then at that moment, we basically need to get up. We need to imagine ourselves as to being like a vapor, like a, I don't know, a fog, something very, very light, that actually can move in space. And we are just going to basically feel like we are going to float when we wake, when we rise from bed. And we can look back and see, is my body in my bed? If my body is in my bed, I'm in astral. And the first time, that might be a shock. And then what will happen? We get scared. We basically go back immediately into our body. And there is this feeling that most probably will have happened to you before, that we just fell from a second story, from a second floor into our bed. So it's a big bump, like we feel like we just fell there from 2 stories above. Of course, that's not what happened. What happened is the fact that we basically came down from 1 dimension and we came back to the 3rd dimension. This is what happens. And this bump that we feel is that our body doesn't actually move. So now it might be a good time to remind you all that nothing really bad can happen to you in the astral world. We have the Antakarana, which is what is called the silver thread that connects our physical body with our astral body, and that is something that cannot be broken. Only death can make that break. So you are not going to be harmed in the astral world. You might have a scare. There is things that might happen to you, but the worst that can happen to you basically is that we can we wake up and we had a scare. So that's the worst. There's no physical or otherwise any harm that in the dream that you can have. So you can safely practice this. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. I mean, you might have a scare, as I say, but that's the same as with nightmares. We have a scare, but that's it. We forget about it. So then when you basically rise from your bed, you just feel your body float, and you just need to focus on going somewhere. So you might go to, I don't know, the classical example is the pyramids. So you go to see the big pyramids in Egypt, and they are very different in the astral world. So especially the Sphinx. So if that doesn't happen and you basically end up rising with your physical body, with your normal body, the one that you know, that happens, that actually means that, okay, you were not relaxed. You might have been too afraid. That is a big thing here. So we are going to have a fear, even if we do not have conscious fear of going out in astral. There is an unconscious fear that we have. First, all human beings, or most human beings, have fear of the unknown. We all do. So that is going to be a factor in all this. Second, the fact that we are going out with the astral body while leaving the physical body behind feels very much like death. And there is an unconscious fear of that as well. So that feeling, a very particular feeling, like, well, it's very difficult to describe a feeling, but that you will recognize unconsciously, and you need to overcome that. Nothing bad is going to happen, but you need to flow through. You need to go through that if you want to go out in the astral consciously. So yeah, this is something we need to learn, and most probably you will have a lot of bumps, because basically seeing your physical body is a shock from outside. The feeling of death is something that actually is, you need to overcome that as well. So that will give you some bumps until you get over that. And basically everything comes with practice. And the most important one still, I will say it again, is that the fact that we are going to be awake during the day. We are going to be aware of ourselves. That is the thing that will help us the most. So if you basically get up and you are in the physical body, you realize, you look at your bed, your body is not there, so you're using it. Just go back, repeat the relaxation, repeat the practice, and try again. Some people have been doing this for hours each night. That depends on the willpower, on the will to see this, to get through this. And but again, I say the most important factor here is to basically gain awareness of our daily lives. If we are, I don't know, playing games during the day, that is not going to help us to get out in the astral. If we are so busy at work that we just forget about everything else and we just think about what we need to do and so on, that is not going to help us. So we can do our work all the same as being conscious of ourselves, aware of ourselves, as we call it, awake. All of this is basically, again, shameless plug, explained in great detail in the courses that we gave in the different countries where we are present, over 30. Face-to-face courses. What we call this course is the first chamber, that will give you all the basics to do this thing by yourself, and nobody need to know anything. So next slide, please. So the practice, the actual practice that we are going to do when we go to bed, when we want to get out into the astral, is the most important one is to be conscious of our going to sleep. I mean, when the moment comes, when we normally go to sleep, what happens is that we put our head down, we close our eyes, and then at some moment we lose consciousness and we are dreaming. That's how it works. If we remember or not, that's another thing, but that's how it works. So to keep a watch on the sleep process means that I'm going to be very much aware of myself. Meanwhile, I'm actively trying to relax the body in every way I can. I have given a couple of practices. There is more. The thing is to basically let the body sleep. Meanwhile, I keep awake. So we have to detach ourselves from the feeling of the body. We have to be ourselves, you could say that. In that sense, the body will let go, the body will relax, it will fall asleep, and that moment you can basically get up. And if you go look back and you see your body, it is there, you are in astral. You had a success getting out into the astral. It might take time, but it will be very rewarding. So then there is a thing that is called the subtle voice. The subtle voice is it's really like, well, some people say it's a sound like a cricket that's inside your brain. It's literally the sound your brain makes, and that sound that you hear, that you don't really hear it, of course. I mean, it's not that kind of sound. It's a sound inside your brain or inside your body. It's a sound of the brain. So that sound then is one that very much relaxes you. It's, as I say, maybe like a cricket. It's very, very similar if you get to hear it. And some people can very easily hear it, some people cannot. It depends on the person. So that's why there is so many different ways of getting out into the astral. The thing is to be able to relax the body enough, focus, for example, in the subtle voice, in that sound that your brain makes, and that will actually make you, as I say, detach from the body. And you will find then, sometimes you will find that you are basically floating above your body. And then you realize, oh, right, okay, so I'm already in astral. Or the self-suggestion, the auto-suggestion. So this basically means that we are going to imagine that we are this fog, this like vapor, like very, very subtle, like there is no easy way to describe it, but let's say we are like a cloud and we can float in the environment and we move like in a very, let's say, cloudy way. So if we imagine that, like we are, basically our body is going to get out from our physical body, our astral body is going to get out of our physical body, it will happen slowly. And then we will realize we are in the astral body. We are floating, we are around, and we are maybe even standing. Because of course we will have our eyes closed, because the body, the physical body, will need the eyes closed to sleep. We cannot have our eyes open, so the eyes will have to be closed. So at some point we realize that, okay, I am not asleep, but I feel different. We open our eyes and we realize, okay, I'm floating, I'm out of my body. I may be even somewhere else. So that it depends on the person. So for this to work, there is some mantras that we can use to help us. The most important, the classic one, is Pharaon. That mantra goes like this. So in 3 breaths, we are going to do the 3 different syllables there. And we go Fa, Ra, Om. So, of course, you are not going to do this verbally, because otherwise your physical body will not be able to relax, will not be able to sleep, because you are using it, you are making it do this materialization. So you might begin to do this in order to relax the body physically, but then you will do it a little bit more quietly and go down in volume, go down, go down, go down, until you do it mentally. When you are able to keep the focus on there, on the mantras, you will have the realization that it might be that you are already in the pyramids in Egypt, and you are looking at the face of the Sphinx. So Pharaon actually will get you there, literally. So the one thing that I would basically recommend to you is don't pronounce the N as it is in there. Do that sound like an M. So you do Pharaon. That will help you a little bit. And every time you breathe in, do it in a very relaxed manner. Every time you breathe out, do that in a very harmonious way, and try to be as relaxed about it as you can in that sense. So another mantra would be the vowel M. So basically, it's just So you do as much as you can, you do as long as you can, with a single breath, and you keep doing it, and that will also raise your, let's say, awareness levels and the energy that is flowing through our body, and which needs to happen, and that will help you then basically get out in astral. And the other mantra would be Om, which is the universal mantra for harmony. The harmony that you gain from there will basically relax your body as well. Without doubt, the Pharaon mantra is the most powerful in this case. It works wonders. I cannot say that loud enough. So, let's try to go to the next slide, please. Lucid dreaming techniques. Right. So, as I said earlier on, the discernment is our friend. We can and should very much use our ability to wake up in daily life. We cannot get into astral or lucid dreams if we are, you should say, in asleep in your daily life. We cannot do that. So we need very much to take control of our actions, take control of our habits, take control of what I say, what I do, what I think, and what I feel during our daily life in order to basically take control of our dream world, of our dream life. So basically, one of the tricks we could use here is to imagine that we are going to known places, work, or I don't know, the bus, the subway, whatever it is that we go to work with. And the road, say, that we are going to go through, we are going to look at it in a very different way. We're going to look at it like we haven't ever seen that. So everything is new. We will actually be looking at it. Don't do this while driving. So if you're doing that in a bus where you don't put yourself in danger, just thinking about what I'm saying here. So if you go in a bus or in a subway or whatever, you take the tram to work, be mindful of your environment, and every time, every place you go, just look at it like you have never seen it. Another place that works wonders is your own bedroom. When you go into your bedroom, just look at everything like you have never seen it. We know our bedroom inside out. We can move in our bedroom with no lights, and we have no problem with that. We know it inside out, right? So if you do this practice, you will notice details that are very important, and you will begin to notice things that you otherwise wouldn't have seen of your own bedroom that we know so well. But if you begin to look, you'll notice that you know very well is the floor. So you can actually go around places without stubbing your toe at nighttime. That is something that we have learned, but we haven't fully taken stock of what's in our bedroom. Then another technique that we can use is basically pulling your finger. I explained that earlier. You have to put your whole being, your whole might into pulling your finger. Your consciousness needs to be there, your full attention. You have to be very aware of this. So you pull it. If it stretches, then you are in astral. If it doesn't, make that enough times in a day that you will be making that in a dream. When it stretches, you see it because you have been putting your full attention to it. You see that it stretches, and then you can basically realize, okay, this is a dream. I can go somewhere else. So that is the most practical technique there is. So that is the way to basically question yourself. Am I awake? Am I in the dream world? Where am I really? In which dimension? So if we do make this a habit, this will work. But you do need to make this a habit. And I am conscious of what I'm saying. A habit is not a mechanical one. We have plenty of mechanical habits, don't we? The way we speak, the way we move our body, the way we move our hands, the way we walk, all those are mechanical habits. We need to make this a habit that is not mechanical. This habit needs to be something that we consciously choose how to do, and we are going to be very much aware of doing it. Okay, next slide, please. And this is the dream memory slide, and we go one further, and it says to activate dream memory. I think the presentation is a bit behind. So when we wake up, because we are going to do this, trying to get into astral is a two-part process. So first thing, we are going to go to we are going to try to get into the astral at night, but when we wake up, there is a whole process that we need to go through in order to keep stock of what we dreamt, because we want to remember. So this is part of the yoga, dream yoga practice that we need to do. So if we could get please into the to activate dream memory, it's 2 slides behind the slide on the presentation, please. So the main thing is when we at nighttime, when we are trying to get into trying to get out to astral, just a second, hay que pasar una otra, o sea, dos. Sorry about that. So basically, when we are going to be relaxing and so on, and getting into the trying to get into the astral body, what we are trying to do is to relax the body, right? We have been talking about that, and then we are going to feel all that. So one detail that I left out is that when we begin to have this feeling of sleep in our body, it would be very, very beneficial for us to basically turn to our right side. So we are going to basically put our right hand under our head, under our face, and we are going to bring the knees up. So we would be then like sleeping in our sides. Our left hand would be alongside our body, over our body, our knees up, the left leg will be over the right leg, and the right hand would be under our head. So that position, which is called the position of the lion, which is part of the dream yoga, that will give us an advantage in order to then, in the morning, if we were not able to get out in astral, we will get far better chances to basically remember what the dreams were. And that is a big, big, big help when we are beginning. So one thing, when we wake up, we might want to have some kind of journal that we will keep with a pen under our pillow, because the most important thing when we wake up is not to move. We should not move at all. The less we move, the better. When we move, that it basically messes up our dreams. Well, not our dreams, our memories, let's say it that way. So if we don't remember anything, we might have to do a retrospective exercise. So a retrospective exercise means that I'm taking stock of where I am right now, and I try to go back of what I was doing right before the dream that I remember. If I don't remember anything, well, I'll try to remember what I was doing in the dream. If I don't remember that, then we do the mantra. The mantra is Raum Gaum. That's 2 syllables on each, 1 breath on each. Sorry, 2 breaths on each. Sorry. So that would be Ra Ga. Sorry. Ra Om Ga Om. Of of course, this is very, very quiet. This is very relaxed. We just woke up. This cannot basically disturb our body in that sense. So we do that very, very quietly, especially if we are married or in a relationship. That will basically not be to the liking of our partner that's sleeping right next to us. So we do this very, very quietly. But this mantra will basically call the Maiden of Memories right there. That will help us to remember our dreams. Another thing is when we go along is to have that dream journal, this journal that we have below our pillow. We'll take our pen, that's right there, and in that position that we are, whatever position that we woke up, we don't move, we take the journal, we write whatever we can remember. The more we move, the less we will remember. So if we do like 5 minutes of the Raum Gaum mantra, that will, we will have to put our alarm clock, like, I don't know, maybe half an hour before our normal waking up time. That takes some effort, I'm sure, but that it will be worth it. So if we keep journal of what we dream, that will give us patterns of our behavior, patterns of what happens to us, patterns of so many things that will help us to realize what we are doing wrong. And it will give us clues of what we need to change in our daily life. And that seems like a joke, but it isn't. So it's very different when you actually know that this detail, very particular detail, for example, I don't know, talking with your boss, that you are losing your temper, that is preventing you from getting out into the astral. So you need to do something about that, because losing your temper is basically a total waste of energy. And you need that energy, or the body needs that energy at night in order for you to get out in the astral. You cannot waste your energy, which is very important to us. So next slide, please. And we have finished with the talk. So there is some questions now. Okay, Rafael Jaros, can we dream within a dream? Yes. Right now, our consciousness level is so low that we can do things like that. This is, I have to say, something we shouldn't be having. We should not be having a dream without a dream, because that's a double dream and it happens. But that basically means that we need to wake up like urgently in the physical world. That means that we are really asleep in the physical world, that we don't pay enough attention to our life, to our environment, to our body, to what happens to us, to what we feel, to what we think. And we have a mechanical life, basically. So like so many people in the world. Question from Mawili Gamido. My mother dreamed and she said she was in a garden gathering fresh garden eggs. What does it mean? Well, that is difficult to say, but I would say from without knowing your mother, because the only one that can actually interpret your dreams, or her dreams in this case, is basically your mom. Your mom needs to know how she felt taking those eggs from the garden, why she did it maybe, or how she felt after. What did she do with those eggs? What happened after? Why she was in the garden. All those things are important in order to see what those eggs actually mean in that. But in general, as a general rule of thumb, I'm not saying this is the case always, but in general, the egg means the soul. In this case, if it's more than one, The egg can mean basically virtues, values of consciousness that we can then gather. So we are doing something right. We are getting some value of the things that we do in life. So that is without knowing your mother, without knowing anything, no context. This is what I would say, but I wouldn't really. I would take that with a big grain of salt. So, a question from Rafael Yaros. Is this day reality when we are allegedly awake also a dream? If we are not awake, yes, it is a dream. Because I mean, if you think about, for example, when you go into a bus, say, bus, tram, subway, whatever it is, even if in a car, if we go into a car every day, we go to work and they go back home, at some point we realize that the car basically is driving itself, you could say, because you just got into the car, you drove home, and at some point you were basically daydreaming about your upcoming vacation to the Seychelles, maybe, and you don't know how come, but you are already home, and the car parked itself, and the car. So yes, unfortunately, we are not paying that much attention, and we are dreaming in the daily life. Emily001 is asking, I dreamt my mother was dying. Her heart was the main part of the dream. She woke and she said she felt like she was dying also. 2 days later, she passed away. Was this a warning I missed? Well, if she actually passed away, yes. I mean, sometimes we receive these kind of dreams, and the fact that she already she also dreamed the same thing should have been wake-up call. And yes, so I hope you got the, well, let's say the time to basically put things in order with your mom, and let's hope you did not have anything bad blood or anything that sometimes we have with the people we love. Another question from Babna. Hi, when we dream of people who are there in our life, does that mean they are having the same dream so that they are in our dream? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So it can be that they are there, they are having, for example, we dream that we go to, I don't know, a party, birthday of someone in the family. The whole family goes there for the birthday and we have a good time. So that means that we all dreamt of that. And there is no more than that to that dream, which is a mechanical one. We are just basically repeating what we did in our daily life. But sometimes family members are actually not our family members. For example, when we are told you should not do this, and our father tells this is an authority figure, and it makes us unconsciously even listen to what he has to say. And most probably, whatever he had to say, we remember. And if we ask our father, and he will not remember this, because most probably he was not your father, it was just his figure, and that authority figure that you have, which is your father, he was used, not him, but the image that you have of him. You saw him, but it was not him. But you were given something that you needed to hear, whatever it was, some advice, some warning, something. And yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Luis Medina is asking, my normal dreams are always hazy, but my bad dreams really end up being completely clear. Why does this happen? Well, when we feel that we are in danger, when we feel that we are being chased, or our life is in danger, that tends to clear up the mind, doesn't it? So it probably is because of that. And I would try to find ways to relax during the day. I will pick up meditation. Again, shameless plug. There is plenty of courses that the Gnostic culture does around the year. So they are all free, and you will learn how to do all these things. Question from R123. Would you recommend using herbs or dream herbs to aid in entering the astral realm? Mugwort, passion flower, chamomile tea. Yes, we will talk about that tomorrow. But yes, there are some herbs that you can use to basically relax the body and soul, and those herbs can actually make it easier to basically go into the dream world. So same person is asking, can the dream world be described as your own subjective version of the astral realm? And the fifth dimension is an objective realm where we can interact with real beings, not just our imagination. Well, that depends on the dream. That depends on the level of consciousness that you have. So if you have a high consciousness level, then it's going to be let's say the real thing. Most of our dreams are not the real thing because we dream mechanically. We dream something that has to do with our desires. We went through this whole thing yesterday in yesterday's talk that I'm sure the link is below somewhere. And that is very much depending on the consciousness level that we all have. Jamen is asking, living the physical body makes me feel exposed and open without protection. Is there something could affect me negatively in the astral level? Yes. Of course, if we have a nightmare, that affects us. Nightmares can be profoundly traumatizing, but they are nightmares. We are not going to suffer physically. Nothing bad in that sense is going to happen to us. But yes, it will be sometimes scary. But if you feel that's exposed, I would recommend, literally, I spoke yesterday about some part of ourselves that we call the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is extremely powerful. She has real power and she can literally protect us. As a mother would protect her child. So if we are, as we are her children, we all have one Divine Mother. As we have a physical one, we have a spiritual one. This spiritual one actually can protect us. So the only thing the one thing we can do is to call her. We call our Divine Mother. The only thing we need to do is basically call her from our heart. We have to feel that we need her help, and she is coming to help us, and we will feel the help, however it is that we feel there. So if we feel very exposed wherever we are in the astral world, just ask your Divine Mother, please take me somewhere else where I can be and learn something and keep me awake in this dream world. And she will do. If we do that with a heart full of purity, that will happen most definitely. So Ignatius, can this be done when you share a room with others, or can you only practice it when you are alone in your room? You can do this with others, of course, but if you are going to try to get into the astral world, you are going to maybe getting up, trying to get into the astral. The fact that you are getting up and down, getting up and down, getting up and down, that might be disturbing to your roommates. So yeah, that maybe you need to find a way to have a place you can sleep without waking up anybody. You can also basically do the whole thing that we have done and just try to do the pharaoh and just imagine yourself there. You don't need to basically get up, even though that is the most powerful thing. But if that is what you can do, then that is what you can do. Ciacia says, how far can the body travel during astral? We can go everywhere in the planet. There is no limit. There is no time. Astral plane is actually time. So no problem with that. So you can imagine, I want to be there, you will be there. Old woman asks, can astral be done during the day? Very difficult. That is not for a beginner. That is going to be very, very difficult. Nighttime is the preferred time to begin doing this. Of course, if you have a lot of practice, you can, but I mean, that is very difficult to do. So you wouldn't be asking this question. Okay. All that is love is asking, isn't it important to do protective techniques first, such as connecting to the core of Earth and central sun before the astral projection to prevent any energetic interference from the astral world? Well, there is a couple of things we can do. One of them would be through the herbs that will actually prevent us. Putting a very quick prayer to our Divine Mother will help us, and I reckon that would be far more effective than trying to get a connection, energetic connection to the core of the earth. Because if we are not even aware of our own physical body, of what we feel, of what we think, trying to imagine the energetic connection to the core of the planet would be very difficult. So I would go with asking the Divine Mother first. Viveke is asking, can we have difficulties with certain things in astral? So once awakened in the dream, can you control your normal actions, but you do not have the ability to stretch the finger flow through air? I'm not sure I can understand the question. You can now control your normal actions, but you do not have the ability to stretch the finger flow through air. Well, I mean, we can obviously awaken during the dream in the astral world, but the thing of the finger pulling is the trick of it is to convert that into habits. So if we basically try and actually put our consciousness, our attention, our awareness, our full attention on the fact that we are pulling on our finger, and we actually try to stretch it. And if we do that several times a day, and if we do that as a habit, but not a mechanical one, then it will stretch. So we will have no issues with that. And that will happen automatically. We'll realize in the astral world that we are doing it. And when we do it, it will stretch. So G. Alexander is asking, can those lucid dreams also look like real life experience, like you were really in the physical plane and already awakened? Yes, I spoke about this at the beginning. So this is what happens to us most of the time. We are dreaming and we think that we were in the physical world. And then we realize when we woke up in the morning, oh, it was a dream. And I thought all the time I was in the physical world. So this is the normal state of things. This happens to us every day. And R123 is asking, do you have centers where people can learn these techniques in person? I read online you have centers. How does one join? I'm sure there is, for example, in the ebook, if you download the ebook, I'm sure there is a number of addresses there where it depends on the country that you are. We are present in more than 30 countries. There are courses throughout the year, and the courses are in person, face-to-face, presential. So you will very much have people there that will help you with all these techniques so you can learn and you can try for yourself. And yeah, so someone you can talk face-to-face, that will most definitely help you. So there is no more questions. Thank you all. We have gone a little bit over time, but we'll see then again for the final talk on this series on lucid dreaming tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you very much.